This is an overview of the Community Rating System. It was developed for communities that participate in the National Flood Insurance Program and are interested in learning more about the CRS. More information is available at FEMA.gov and crsresources.org. CRS is a flood insurance rating program administered by FEMA, which also runs the National Flood Insurance Program. Communities participate in the National Flood Insurance Program to make federally backed flood insurance available and to be eligible for disaster assistance. Any community that participates in the NFIP can participate in the CRS, and it is a voluntary program. Of the more than 22,500 communities in the NFIP, about 7% have joined the CRS. Though that seems like a small percentage, those communities actually represent 73% of all flood insurance policies. The idea behind CRS is to reduce the premiums in communities where there is better floodplain management, with programs and standards that are above and beyond the minimum requirements of the NFIP. The day-to-day work of the CRS is administered by the Insurance Services Office. Your ISO specialist is the primary person that you work with at the community level if you're interested in joining the program. The CRS program has 3 goals. The first one is to reduce flood damage to insurable property. The NFIP insures buildings from flood damage, so whatever communities can do to reduce the potential for damage, the CRS wants to support it. The second goal addresses the insurance aspects. Communities can help by encouraging more people to have flood insurance, so there's a larger policy base, and also help with the flood data that's used to rate buildings. The third goal is to have a comprehensive floodplain management program at the community level, including protection for buildings, but also for protection of streets, utilities, and natural floodplain functions. Activities are organized under 4 general series of local activities that work toward the 3 goals of CRS. The first is the Public Information Series that provides credit for activities such as outreach projects, websites, technical assistance, and other things that advise people about the flood hazard. The 400 series provides credit for activities that deal with new development, credit for mapping the floodplain, for keeping parts of the floodplain undeveloped, and higher building standards. The 500 series provides credit for what a community does to reduce losses to development that's already there, buying out or elevating flood-prone structures, maintaining drainage systems, and comprehensive flood protection plans. The 600 series is for the emergency manager. These are activities that can be done before, during, and after a flood to minimize property damage and loss of life. These 4 series form the framework for 19 specific activities that can get credit. And within those 19 activities are 94 individual elements where points are provided for what a community does. The total number of points determines your class. Every 500 points gets 1 class improvement. For every class improvement, NFIP policyholders get a 5% reduction in premiums. Communities that have less than 500 points, or those that don't participate in the CRS, are Class 10 communities and receive 0 flood insurance discount. There are more than 200 Class 9 communities that receive a 5% insurance premium reduction. About 450 Class 8 communities receive a 10% discount. The majority of the communities are Class 6 through 9 because those are the classes that need the fewest points. Typically, communities join at a Class 9 or Class 8. Over the years, they'll improve their programs or document that they're doing more, and as a result, classes improve over time. There are a series of prerequisites to move to a Class 4, such as having a comprehensive floodplain management plan. Only 20 of the 1,520 communities are Class 1 through 4. There are 6 things that you need to do or be doing before you can join the CRS. The first is to be in the National Flood Insurance Program in the regular phase for at least 1 year. We'll need word from the FEMA Regional Office that your community is in full compliance with the minimum criteria of the NFIP, which is usually determined by a Community Assistance Visit or CAV. CAVs are conducted for all NFIP communities regardless of CRS participation. Your community needs to be maintaining accurate data for new construction in the Special Flood Hazard Area using construction certificates like the FEMA Elevation Certificate and Floodproofing and V-Zone certifications. About 2/3 of NFIP communities have repetitive loss properties. You'll need to map and assess repetitive loss areas and work to reduce repetitive flood damage in these areas. Your community CEO must state that every community-owned building that is required to have a flood insurance policy has one. These are usually buildings inside the special flood hazard area that have received federal grants or assistance. When a flood insurance study is done in a coastal area, your community must agree that the LMWA, the limit of moderate wave action, will appear on your final flood insurance rate map. These are the 6 prerequisites to get into the program, but they also are required to stay in the program. The cost of joining the CRS varies by community. Your community must designate a point of contact between FEMA and ISO and the various community offices that are implementing creditable activities. Typically, the CRS coordinator is an extra assignment. But the biggest cost is doing good floodplain management, doing the things that get credit. You'll have to maintain records of what you're doing. You'll also have to participate in the recertification and verification visits. The total cost will depend on your community's level of effort. The number one benefit of the program is that you'll save your residents money. Your ISO specialist and your FEMA regional office can provide details of those potential savings in your community. Property owners who pay for protection measures through stormwater utilities or property taxes may see those costs offset by direct savings on their flood insurance. Communities also benefit from better coordination between departments or from enhancing current programs for additional credits, and also from the technical assistance CRS provides for things like stormwater management and planning. Public information activities help your residents become more aware about flood protection and what your community is doing, and you end up with a constituency for better floodplain management. And finally, there's an incentive to keep the programs going. When your community hasn't experienced a major flood for a few years, there can be pressure from developers to lower floodplain development standards. Sometimes people forget the importance of good floodplain management and want to eliminate programs. But CRS communities are motivated to maintain these programs because losing the credits might raise insurance premiums on their residents. Recent reforms to the NFIP have motivated many communities to look at ways to reduce the cost of flood insurance. If you want to reduce premiums, CRS can help. But the most effective way to save residents money is to encourage elevation and relocation of flood-prone structures. Mitigation reduces exposure to flooding, and that will reduce insurance premiums. CRS has a variety of credits that help support mitigation. Map information programs that tell people about the flood hazard, outreach projects, websites, one-on-one assistance to inform residents about flood insurance, and retrofitting measures. Improving flood maps so the true flood hazard really is reflected, and in particular, higher regulatory standards. CRS wants you to think about the big picture. Think in terms of not only joining just for reduced premiums, but joining to do things in your community that will reduce flood risks and therefore improve or reduce their premiums. Your ISO specialist will help you through the application process, but it doesn't happen overnight. First, we'll need a letter of interest from the Chief Executive Officer to the FEMA Regional Office, indicating interest and designating the CRS coordinator. We need to know that you're also doing enough that would give you at least 500 points. For that, we use an online tool called a Quick Check. After FEMA completes the CAV, the specialist will visit to identify all the activities you're doing for credit. This visit might take 1 to 3 days, and after the visit and the CAV, FEMA headquarters will assign a new CRS class. This entire process can take anywhere from 6 to 24 months. There's a lot to do and learn about the CRS, and there may be cases where you'd like a little help. We have lots of resources to assist you, but your number one source is your specialist. You can also talk to your FEMA regional office, your state's NFIP coordinator, and you can talk to other CRS communities by participating in one of more than 40 CRS users groups around the country. There are 2 websites with more information about the CRS. FEMA.gov is the official home for information. Here you can get a PDF copy of the manual. You can also find resources like the Quick Check and other forms, and you can get a list of all CRS communities as a PDF or Excel file. The address is fema.gov/community-rating-system. More detailed information, including the CRS Manual, Application, and Quick Check, can be found at crsresources.org. Here you can also find information on the individual activities and elements, technical resources, templates, and tools. For training information, including an expanded introduction to the Community Rating System, visit the training section of our website at crsresources.org.